Welcome to OLevels Economics Unit 15 Mixed Economic System. A mixed economic system is one in which the government intervenes in the economy, combining features of both a market economic system and a planned economic system. In a mixed economy, some firms are privately owned and operate in the private sector, while others are owned and controlled by the government in the public sector. Similarly, some prices are determined by the forces of demand and supply, while others are fixed or influenced by the government. In this system, decisions about what to produce are influenced by both consumers and the government. The aim of a mixed economy is to gain the advantages of both market and planned systems while avoiding their disadvantages. Private sector production can generate choice, efficiency, and incentives, while government intervention can correct market failure and protect society's wider interests. Government intervention in a mixed economy brings several potential benefits. Governments are expected to take into account the full social costs and benefits of their decisions. For example, a railway line may not be profitable for a private firm, but the government may continue to operate it if the social benefits, such as improved mobility and regional development, exceed the costs. Governments can also encourage the consumption of products that are more beneficial than consumers realize, such as education or healthcare, by providing subsidies, information, or passing laws. Similarly, they can discourage the consumption of harmful products, such as tobacco, through indirect taxes, information campaigns, or legislation. Governments can finance goods that cannot be charged for directly, such as national defense, prevent firms from exploiting consumers through high prices, promote full employment, plan for long-term economic growth, and support vulnerable groups. By taxing the rich more heavily, governments may also reduce income inequality. Despite these advantages, a mixed economy is not guaranteed to perform better than other systems. Market failure can still occur, and government intervention may sometimes worsen the situation, leading to what is known as government failure. One important form of government intervention is the use of maximum and minimum prices. Governments may impose price controls to limit firms' ability to set prices. A maximum price, or price ceiling, is set below the equilibrium price to make basic necessities affordable for poorer consumers. However, this often leads to a shortage, as quantity demanded exceeds quantity supplied. To deal with this, governments may introduce rationing, queuing, or lotteries. On the other hand, a minimum price, or price floor, is set above the equilibrium price to encourage production. This creates a surplus, as quantity supplied exceeds quantity demanded, and the government may need to buy up the excess. A minimum price can also take the form of a minimum wage, which sets the lowest legal price for labour. Governments also use subsidies and indirect taxes to address market failure. A subsidy is an extra payment to producers that lowers production costs and shifts the supply curve to the right. The effect of a subsidy depends on its size and the price elasticity of demand. If demand is inelastic, most of the subsidy benefits consumers through lower prices. If demand is elastic, producers benefit more, as the subsidy leads mainly to an increase in quantity sold. When granting subsidies, governments must consider opportunity cost, as the funds could have been used elsewhere. Indirect taxes increase firms' costs of production and raise prices. If demand is inelastic, taxes mainly raise prices and generate revenue. If demand is elastic, taxes reduce consumption more significantly. This is why taxes are effective at raising revenue on inelastic goods, but less effective at discouraging consumption of products like tobacco. Competition policy is another tool used by governments to promote efficiency and protect consumers. It aims to prevent firms from abusing market power by blocking harmful mergers, removing barriers to entry, regulating monopolies, and banning uncompetitive practices. These practices include predatory pricing, where firms sell below cost to eliminate rivals, and limit pricing, where prices are kept low to discourage new firms from entering the market. Environmental policies are used to reduce pollution and protect natural resources. Governments may impose limits on emissions and fine firms that exceed them. Tradable permits are another increasingly popular policy. Firms are given permits allowing a certain level of pollution, and those that pollute less can sell unused permits. This rewards cleaner firms and increases costs for heavy polluters, encouraging a reduction in overall pollution. Regulation involves laws and rules that restrict firms' behavior. Governments may regulate prices, product quality, pollution levels, employment conditions, and target consumers. For example, laws may ban the sale of cigarettes to children or require firms to meet safety standards. Regulations are effective because they are legally enforceable and easy to understand, but they can be costly to monitor and enforce. They may also reduce flexibility and discourage competition if they are too restrictive. Governments may also intervene through nationalisation and privatisation. Nationalisation occurs when the government takes ownership of an industry, creating state-owned enterprises. These enterprises aim to operate in the public interest rather than maximise profit. They may consider full social costs and benefits, avoid abusing monopoly power, and help with planning and coordination. However, state owned enterprises may be inefficient, slow to respond to change, and reliant on subsidies, which have an opportunity cost. Privatisation involves selling state owned enterprises to the private sector. Supporters argue that private firms are more efficient due to profit incentives and competition, leading to lower prices, better quality, and greater choice. However, privatisation is criticised because private firms may become monopolies, ignore social costs such as pollution, and reduce government control over key industries. Direct provision is another form of government intervention. Governments produce essential goods and services such as education, healthcare, and housing, often free or subsidised. These are often merit goods, which are undervalued by consumers and would be underproduced by the private sector. Governments may also provide public goods, such as street lighting and national defence, which are non-excludable and non-rival. Since private firms cannot charge users directly, governments finance these goods through taxation. Governments also intervene for reasons of fairness or equity. Market forces alone can lead to unequal income distribution, leaving some people unable to afford basic necessities. Governments may provide financial assistance, free education and healthcare, and use progressive taxation to reduce inequality. High inequality can cause social unrest, lower productivity, and worsen health and education outcomes. While government intervention can reduce market failure, it may also lead to government failure. Governments may misjudge costs and benefits, act slowly, or make decisions based on political considerations rather than economic efficiency. High taxes and generous benefits may reduce incentives to work or invest, lowering overall efficiency. There is ongoing debate about whether public or private sector spending leads to better resource allocation. Both have advantages and disadvantages. Large projects, such as airports, may be built by either sector. Private firms may be more efficient, but may ignore social costs. Public sector projects may face delays and inefficiency, but are more likely to consider social costs and benefits through cost-benefit analysis. If social benefits exceed social costs, a project may proceed, though opportunity cost must always be considered, as government spending on one project means less spending on others, such as education. In summary, in a mixed economy, resources are allocated through both the price mechanism and government decisions. Governments influence firms using taxes, subsidies, and policies such as industrial, competition, and environmental measures. Maximum prices reduce prices but cause shortages, while minimum prices support producers but create surpluses. Regulations are enforced by law but can be costly and hard to monitor. Governments also intervene to correct market failure, protect vulnerable groups, and promote a fairer distribution of income and wealth, while private firms focus only on private costs and benefits. Thanks for watching.